Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for January 24th. January 24th is the 24th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 341 days remaining to the end of the year, except in leap years, in which case there are 342 days remaining to the end of the year.
Today's word is nirvana. Nirvana is a noun that describes a place of perfect peace and happiness, like heaven. In Hinduism and Buddhism, nirvana is the highest state that one can attain, a state of enlightenment, meaning a person's individual desires and suffering go away. The origin of the word nirvana relates to religious enlightenment. It comes from Sanskrit, meaning extinction, disappearance of the individual to the universal. Achieving nirvana is to make earthly feelings like suffering and desire disappear. It's often used casually to mean any place of happiness, like if you love chocolate, going to Hershey's Park would be nirvana. On the other hand, if you're a Buddhist monk, it may take you years of meditating to reach nirvana.
Moving on, we're going to start today's history in the year 41. When the Roman Emperor Caligula died on this day at the age of 28. As emperor, he wanted to increase the unconstrained personal power of the emperor, and there's probably good reason for that. He's been described as cruel, sadistic, extravagant, sexually perverse, and in general an insane tyrant. He was so bad that the Praetorian Guard, the senators, and the courtiers got together and assassinated him on this day in the year 41. He was 28. You have to be pretty doggone bad. As I understand it, a horrible human being. In the year 76, on January 24th, this is believed to be the birthday of the Roman Emperor Hadrian. Hadrian ruled for about 21 years, and he's best known for Hadrian's Wall in Great Britain. He also had a hand in rebuilding the Pantheon in Rome and inaugurating the building of the Temple of Venus and Roma, along with some other significant building projects. He lived to the age of 63. Gold was discovered on this day in 1848 at Sutter's Creek in California, launching the California Gold Rush. On January 24th, 1908, Robert Baden-Powell published the first in a series called Scouting for Boys, which ultimately generated the Boy Scout movement. That was over in England, and then, of course, the Boy Scout movement migrated over here. On January 24th, 1918, the Gregorian calendar was introduced in Russia by decree of the Council of People's Commissars to become effective on February 14th. Next item we've touched upon before, the Battle of Stalingrad, both from the perspective of the Russians who were surrounded by Germans and also from the Germans who did the surrounding. To recap, the Battle of Stalingrad had begun the previous summer as German forces were sent to take the city. They got it surrounded, but of course the Russians fought back, and by this time, it had gone on so long that the Germans were beginning to run low on resources and men. They'd lost a lot of men, more than half what they started out with. I think they started out with something like 280,000, and now they were down to 91,000. And then, of course, it's January, winter in Russia, and so it is that on January 24th, 1943, German General Friedrich Paulus urgently asked of Hitler to be allowed to retreat, but Hitler wasn't having it. He wouldn't budge. He insisted that they hold their positions to the last man in the last round, and it very well almost came to that. On January 24th, 1971, co-founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill W., died at the age of 75. And bless his heart, on January 24th, 1972, local farmers found Japanese Sergeant Soichi Yokoi, who had been hiding in the jungles of Guam for nearly 30 years and was unaware that World War II had ended. On January 24th, 1989, the notorious serial killer Ted Bundy, with over 30 known victims, was executed in the electric chair at the Florida State Prison. And on January 24, 2006, the Walt Disney Company bought Pixar at the price of $7.4 billion. That's billion with a B. That's a lot of dollars. Yeah, and I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. January 2nd. The 16th. It's all written in Roman numerals, so I had to translate it. Hopefully I got that pronunciation close. Yeah, Annie's ready to go. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work.